When we arrived at Honolulu, Cranston presented the flowers to Mrs. Honolulu, who spoke no English that I knew of, and told her that we appreciated Mr. Honolulu's kindness as Cranston could get that point across to her, and I think she understood. Well, a few years ago, my wife Gail and I were traveling in the Far East. We stopped in Tokyo, and we decided to go to Honolulu. Upon entering the shoe removal area, Mrs. Honolulu came out to greet us. I quickly reminded her of my name as not to embarrass her. She bowed quite graciously, and upon rising said in a very halting English manner, "Mr. Botterson, okay?" And then again, not too long after that, Gail and I were in Europe. We checked into a hotel near the Eiffel Tower that Cranston stayed while he was opening up the Compuad operation in France, and he was the Director of International Operations for Compuad. I walked to the front desk, and I thought I recognized the desk clerk. I introduced myself and told him I'd been there quite often back in 1990, 1991, and then I thought I remembered him. He couldn't make any connection. Then I mentioned that I came with Cranston Bauer from Texas. His eyes lit up and said in his best French accent, "Ah, our dear friend Mr. Bauer. He was such a wonderful person." And then pointing to the front door said, "We should have his name on the glass on our front door. We all loved him so much." And then there's Cranston's family. It sure didn't take long when we were traveling with Cranston to come to understand how important his family was to him. No matter where he was in the world, never a day went by that Cranston didn't put out a phone call back home to check on the home front with Joan, keeping track of Melinda, Stephen, Leslie, Susan, David, and Karen. And then, of course, when the grandkids came along, that just gave him more pride, more concern, and more joy. And, of course, he had to check on them, too. In the past few weeks, Manny Chavez, Glenn Bedford, and I have had a few occasions to have lunch with Cranston. I can't tell you how important these sessions were for the three of us, just to be with him and share the joys and recollection of more than 150 years of combined friendships. Let me tell you about one of them. Over the years, whenever I go to Quality Seafood on Airport Boulevard, I think of Cranny and remember him telling me of the great times he had with his kids and grandkids, fishing and crabbing down at the coast house that he built in Pocono Bay. He often told me those were some of the best times of his life. Well, Quality Seafood smells like fish when you walk in the door, has a great raw bar, and looks like it belongs at the coast. So I figured Cranny would love to eat there. So we set a date to meet. At the appointed hour, Cranston drives up to the place, straps on his oxygen tank, comes inside, and proceeds to tell us now that he's under hospice care, and in a moment of great understatement said, "And things don't look so good." He said he was going to die, was ready for it, and he was just happy to have a good fish sandwich, which he then proceeded to devour. About 3 hours later, following a great lunch and much conversation, he called Joan on his cell and said he was on his way. He got in his car, and up Airport Boulevard he drove, leaving us standing in the car, just shaking our heads in amazement. Well, let me close by saying that Cranston wanted to be remembered for two simple things. First, that he made a difference in the lives of those who knew him, his friends, the people he worked with, and the folks he met even on a chance encounter, be it at the grocery store, the pharmacy, or wherever he might be. And secondly, and most important, that he be remembered as someone who first and foremost took care of his family. As I said before, be summoned and to be surrounded by his family when death finally came had to be a moment of great comfort for him. He certainly achieved these goals in great style. Finally, I suspect that the good Lord will undoubtedly ensure that Cranston is resting happily in eternal peace, with the full knowledge that if he needs some heavy lifting to be done, as a project to be completed, or a problem needing to be fixed, he knows he's got Cranston there, standing at the